I thought the streams were okay, yeah. I'm making actual progress towards stabilization and recovery. You're just getting in the way. You know, I wouldn't have to if you'd be more cooperative about this. You know, I thought that thought honestly hadn't crossed my mind. I'm just trying to help. You'd prefer to keep riding this downward spiral. I can fix this place.
Oh, right. This coming from the psychopathic outlaw. Yes, I'll try to be more open-minded about your path of wanton dissent. We don't need your help.
You got vending machine cake? What flavor was it? I've already rallied Byzantium against you. It's only a matter of time.
You have? Is that what you were doing at the ministry?
Yeah, dude.
Look, I'm not an unreasonable man. If you manage to storm the castle, as it were, and make it out of here with Phineas alive, I can't exactly afford more havoc than you've already caused. Fine. If you survive, you'll need someone to sell the rest of the board on your plan.
You're damn right you will, otherwise I'm coming for you next. Got him. Ah, yes, the fake computers. For my green screen. Vanilla with white icing and sprinkles. Ah, I thought the rainbow cake would be different flavors, but I guess not. But vanilla is the best flavor of cake anyway. As a reminder to LBR-NTH employees, access to secure data is a fireable offense. Furthermore, being fired from LBR-NTH staff is punishable by life in prison. Messages. Message logs. Camera. Jim, I'm trying to get straight with Akande's orders? Only a few things more on my end, but I don't know what we'll do about cameras. She says security footage ain't enough. They want proper reels? What's going on? W. Camera. She's bringing in a VIP for internment. Security's ramping up too. Sorry for the inconvenience. It's a fine mess down here. Said something about recording an announcement. They're all overly excited. It's hush-hush, but I guess the VIP's been in the run for a while. I bet the engineers have a few cameras. I'll see if I can track some down. Jim. 3. Camera. Jim. Appreciate it. You know her. We miss a check on this list, it'll be our heads. You have no idea how tough it was getting a fucking green tarp. W. Made some apple cider donuts. Oh, they look like muffins. That's okay. As long as they taste good. Oh, there you guys are. Welcome back. Interesting. So I could have gone, I was there, I believe. I went this way around. I could have gone this way and just bypassed him altogether. That's interesting. I think is what I could have done. It's still fighting over there. Good.
All right, MSI. I'm not one for rousing speeches, but the captain needs our help. So get in there and fight!
Thank you, Sanjar. Appreciate the help, my dude.
This is nice. Calm before the storm and all that.
It plays the Cake Boss voice lines and generic Italian pizza pasta music. Perfect. Cookies and cream carrot cake. Oh, man. Oh, that's two separate ideas. I was like, that's a really bit weird of a combo, but I guess I'd try it. But yeah, cookies and cream sounds good. Carrot cake. I love carrot cake.
You have an uncanny talent for complicating my life. You've disrupted
no
the
raisins,
balance
carrot
of
cake.
power. You've upset the natural order of things. You've introduced uncertainty, and there is nothing I despise more than uncertainty.
It's over, Sophia. Stand down. We're liberating Halcyon. There's not a damn thing you can do to stop us. You sure love talking. Do they pay you by the word? We're liberating Halcyon. There's not a damn thing you can do to stop us.
Do you imagine you're leading some grand revolutionary army? The Iconoclasts and MSI have put aside their differences and attacked the prison together. I never imagined such a thing would be possible. But here we are. You're nothing but a rabble-rouser. I'm going to put an end to your little rebellion. And then I'm going to have you and your associates arrested.
Rabble-rouser. Good on you for staying optimistic in your final moments.
I have no intention of dying on Tartarus, Captain. Not when there's so much work left to do. I admit I miscalculated the extent of your influence. The board's plan never accounted for you. This is a mistake I intend to correct. I have Dr. Wells in my custody. Once I've secured his cooperation, I can move forward with the program. I can repair the damage you've done. I can set things right.
So, walnuts? Good for carrot cake. Raisins? Bad for carrot cake. I love walnuts. I'll put them on my carrot cake. Not love them, but they're welcome in my carrot cake. Raisins are not. Raisins can go eat dirt. Let's talk about this.
Fair enough. I'm giving you exactly one chance to parlay with me.
Intimidate 90, heavy weapon 60, two-handed melee 60. I need all three of those? Or any of those? I don't think I have any of those. No, I'm giving you a chance to walk away before I turn you into a bloody mess. I destroyed your experiments in the Ministry. Your plan's never gonna work. Oops.
Yes, I'm quite aware of your brazen act of corporate vandalism. By the way, those test subjects you killed, they died in agony.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
My scientists assure me they can recover the data you've destroyed. You've succeeded in temporarily delaying our research. Nothing more.
That experiment was barely engineered. Any data you collected is wrong.
That isn't true. It can't be. You're trying to manipulate me.
Did you see my science
That
check?
experiment was absolutely essential to the program. My scientists assured me they were close to a breakthrough. They gave me their word.
No, they just didn't want to die. You know I'm right. I can see it in your eyes.
Damn you. You are telling the truth. My scientists have been lying to me, and I was stupid enough to trust them at their word. We're going to have to start all over again. All that research, all those experiments.
No, you set
us
yourself back decades.
decades.
Not me.
You were always an unknown variable. I tried to recruit you, but you threw your lot in with that madman, Phineas Wells.
Persuade 90, Science 90. Dr. Wells and I are both scientists. Enough talk, let's settle this.
This prison is equipped with an automechanical warden. I've had it programmed to eliminate you on site and rinse your remains down a drain.
Cut off the gravity to your house.
And don't worry. I will inform Dr. Wells that you died heroically or
He can
something.
hear you. Right behind you. Wouldn't that be cool though? I mean, your gravity bill would go to 0, but your Velcro to keep things stuck to the floor bill would go really high up. Look at him. RAM. What is RAM? Who is RAM? Well, it sounds like we're in for a fight, huh? Better hit that save button. Oh, so close. Can I? Oh no, that doesn't do it. That does it though. Ooh. Put my armor back on before I get smashed. Can I hack the robot? No. Well, guess it's time we fight. You get stuck in your chair, Doc.
Beginning
Watch out!
security.
I mean, it's the last of them. They all just died at the same time? Oh, they did. What happened? I took out the boss and they all died? Hibernation chamber key. Why would you give the boss enemy the key to the next area? I mean, I get why, but it's a video game. Look at this. Is this a gear or a decoration? I think it's a... Oh, it's a big belt drive. I just saw... Steam told me that somebody is playing NordVPN. Very good. This stream is not sponsored by NordVPN. Nord, hit me up. We'll work something out. Sealed? What? They had me run all this way for nothing? Okay, well, she died pretty easily. Rip. Oh, I doubt they would want me to fucking sponsor them, A, and B, I don't really want to do that kind of sponsorship stuff on my stream. Chairman's key. Do I use it? No, I guess I gotta use it.
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved.
I think so,
Long
Dolphin. I think that's how they did it.
overdue. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough.
Are you alright? What did they do to you?
I'm all right, thanks to you. Akande wanted my cooperation.
Akande.
I'm quite sure she would have beaten it out of me if you hadn't arrived. You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. But there's still so much we have yet to accomplish. You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. I'm afraid the situation is far worse than any of us ever anticipated.
Great. And I was about to pop open some drinks in celebration.
I would like nothing more than to celebrate this victory, but we have a serious problem on our hands. Earth has gone dark.
Oh,
We haven't
jeez.
received a single message in 3 years. There's been no communication, no signals, nothing. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all.
So we've got to make do on our own. Seems to me that'll make us stronger in the end anyhow.
You're quite right. We've got no choice but to make do on our own.
You mean we're all alone out here?
Really alone?
I'm afraid so, Miss Holcomb. Halcyon is the only home we have left. Returning to Earth is no longer an option. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose. We're entirely on our own.
Well, then we have a lot of work to do. We better get started.
Yes, we do. You've done a marvelous thing. You've succeeded where anyone else would have failed, including me. We must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the Hope's brightest minds, and then we're going to fix this damn colony, one problem at a time. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job than you. What do you say, old friend?
Go on, Dr.
Will you help us?
I've got plans. With the chairman in my pocket, no one's going to know I'm running the colony. I run this colony myself. I've already convinced the chairman to take my side. You can count on me. I'll help you revive the colonists. I'm going to do whatever I've always done, whatever I want all the time. I'm going to do it too.
The chairman? I don't know why you let that heartless creature live, but I'll have to trust your judgment. You're the best thing to ever happen to Halcyon. If you want to take it upon yourself to lead this colony, you have my support. We're not a colony any longer, are we? Our last connection to Earth has been severed, and so we have been set free.
Set free?
Our future is uncertain, and no one knows what tomorrow holds. Exciting, isn't it?
Lifetime employment program ruined.
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment he landed in Emerald Vale, his actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. Between MSI's worker-centric policies and the iconoclast's manpower, Sanjar and Zora were able to rally many of the Terra 2 townships to their cause. MSI's workforce swelled, and the iconoclasts enjoyed a significant surge in their ranks. The board was too distracted by infighting and internal politics to stop MSI from becoming a powerful corporation and a refuge for townships that might have fallen through the cracks. Consumed by paranoia, Lilia Hagen took Sublight Salvage in a controversial direction, openly accusing board officials of an extraterrestrial conspiracy.
The aliens, Phil.
One day, an accident at the Groundbreaker's docking bay silenced her forever. Time would tell if her replacement could keep the Sublight family together. The collapse of Edgewater left its workers bereft of any purpose in life. Most of them made their way to Adelaide McDevitt's camp, hoping to ingratiate themselves into her favor. Adelaide accepted only a few to her community.
She turned people away?
The rest were turned away.
What a
and
bitch!
likely died of starvation.
Wow.
Nevertheless, Adelaide's camp grew into a well-established town.
After I chose them.
Adelaide McDevitt refused to cooperate with the ongoing effort to save Halcyon from collapse. A sympathetic deserter stole a copy of her research and delivered it to the Hope's scientists. It is unclear how useful Adelaide's research was. An optimistic estimate suggests her work may have bought Halcyon another few years of survival. Adelaide would never know. She died that winter.
Wow, what a pain
Under
in
the
the ass.
leadership of Junlei Tennyson, the Groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers, schooled in her family's tradition.
No, I didn't. I'm assuming it was human.
The
but I
future
don't
of the
know.
Groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Even the Gorgon asteroid, though a distant enigma to most of Halcyon, felt the aftershocks of your actions. The destroyed Adrenatime synthesizer became a symbol of the board's cruelty and a rallying point for Wells and his scientists as they sought to build a more humane, ethical Halcyon. They cleared the dead from Gorgon's laboratories and repurposed them to aid in the crucial work of solving the colony's nutrition crisis. Gorgon, which had once sown death and destruction across Halcyon, became a source of hope and renewal. The Gorgon Project's final explosive end was bittersweet for Olivia Ambrose. She wandered the colony's fringes alone, searching for others like her who despised the board and meant to destroy them. In time, she found Phineas Wells and his cadre of scientists, and she joined them in their efforts to save Halcyon.
That's a good one. That's
For
good
a
one.
while, she even knew an uneasy peace. But for all that, Olivia found purpose in Wells' project. She was always haunted by the memory of her daughter, Minnie, who hadn't lived to see the better world they were building. She never did forgive herself for the horror her work had wrought on Halcyon. But she remembered fondly the daring captain who'd put an end to it at last. In spite of everything, the Gorgon asteroid remained a sobering reminder of the potential for progress and disaster in humanity's most ambitious efforts. Your influence further cemented Ellie's perspective. She understood she could never truly rely on others, so she set about making sure she wouldn't have to. With a steady income from the life insurance payouts, she was finally able to afford a ship of her own. She enjoyed a long and infamous career running missions across the system. Some of them were even legal. Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. As much as he enjoyed his adventures aboard the Unreliable, the vicar, known as Max, eventually decided that it was time to move on, to live out the life he had sought so long to create. He knew there were many in the colony who carried burdens much worse than the ones he had struggled with, and he devoted himself to easing their suffering wherever he could. He only ever took up arms again to defend the defenseless. Unshackled from a lifetime of striving and fighting the universe and himself, Vicar Maximilian de Soto was finally at peace. Though Parvati eventually grew comfortable aboard the Unreliable, she never quite came out of her shell. She seemed to prefer the company of Ada to the crew, and she could often be found neck-deep in cables and grease, telling Ada funny stories from her childhood. While the colony fell into chaos, she found an island of relative peace with Ada, and they formed an unusual bond. she decided to remain aboard the Unreliable permanently as its chief and sole engineer. Nyoka returned to Monarch to take another crack at making a permanent life for herself. She formed the Charon Group, a mercenary outfit of ragtag survivalists and wilderness experts. Anyone in need of a guide or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories could find her camping on the trail or clearing an infestation. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. He eventually came to terms with his own past and was able to forgive the mistakes of his younger self by devoting his remaining years to serving the colony.
I think she was already good at
Dr.
engineering.
Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals you stole from the Ministry. Wells never forgot about the human lives that were lost in acquiring these chemicals. In the end, Dr. Wells was able to save every scientist and engineer aboard the Hope. Over the next decade, nearly all of the Hope's remaining colonists were successfully revived. Halcyon saw a period of rapid technological and scientific advancement. Breakthroughs in dietary supplements saved the colony from starvation. Geoengineering projects and social reforms began to change the structure and character of the colony. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the
same screen as the first one, just
he revived.
with a dude instead of the doctor?
Today, Halcyon has stabilized. The people of the colony work hard to adapt to their new circumstances. Nearby colonies send aid and supplies. Life will never be easy in Halcyon, but for the first time in its history, there exists a sense of real, genuine hope about the future. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? You brought an end to the riot on Tartarus and partnered with Chairman Rockwell to run the colony together. As Halcyon looked toward the future, you remained a constant presence in the colony's administration.
Rip.
You
Sorry,
were never
Davey.
weighed down by bureaucracy, and you never had to dirty your hands with politics. You had people who did that for you. By your influence, Halcyon survived the turbulent years that were to follow. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
Well, that was Outer Worlds. Interesting. I thought it was worth the cash. I mean, I got a half retail, so I'm not upset at all about playing it. Now play Outer Wilds. Yes, that is on the long list of games I have to look at. I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. Again, you know, I think anyone coming in looking for New Vegas 2 might be disappointed, but I think it was good based on what I expected and what I got. I can see their intended replay value. Almost everything I did had at least one or two other choices. Yeah, I do too, Scum. I think a lot of people do. But yeah, almost every choice I had multiple choices to choose. I mean, down to the first big one we had to make was saving Edgewater or the botanicals, and I thought I was choosing the lesser of two evils, choosing the botanicals, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Everything you do made you a better character, granting XP. Yeah, I think it would have been cool to not have had a level cap. Just because there were some options at the end that I think I would have hit if I had continued leveling up. But I 33, you kind of get capped, and if I knew that, maybe I would put less into some things and more into others. I except for a couple skills, I kind of tried to play things fairly even, and I think that kind of screwed me in the end, where a lot of the end game stuff I couldn't do. You know what I mean? It would have been nice to have seen a alternate to that, whether it was reorganizing once you hit a certain point, or it was no level cap, or maybe it was a level cap only in supernova mode, or whatever they call the hardcore mode. The flaw system, I will agree with that. I think the flaw system could have been more compelling. It would have been nice if it was more than just an extra perk. When I reached 33 perks, or not even, it would be 15 or whatever the half perks was. However many perks I had, I kind of felt like I didn't really have as many things to get at the end. Like I was kind of looking for perks to take, whereas in the beginning it felt more like, oh, which one should I take? Now it was more like, which one would actually be useful? You know what I mean? Like, I felt like it wasn't worth trading a perk for the negatives. I think if the negatives were a bit more creative and the perks were unrelated, instead of having a perk point, make it a specific perk per thing. Maybe, for the one where you're scared of robots, maybe your perception and strength, or your perception and your smarts go down while you're fighting them, but your strength and your quick time, whatever shit, goes up. You know what I mean? It's like a trade-off. You become a bit more fight or flighty, or fighty instead of flighty, or whatever it is, instead of it just being like, oh yeah, dude, you get an extra perk. I think that would have been a nicer change. But I do have to commend the game for making me make choices. You know what I mean? A lot of games I don't feel like I was put into the hot seat as much to make a choice, especially that first one, the Edgewater one. I was torn. I mean, I rolled a die to see what I was going to do, because I really couldn't decide between the two. So I commend them for making me exercise those muscles in my brain as to choosing which one I do. I might revisit for the next DLC if I can remember, and I still have my saves. Maybe eventually in the future sometime I would do my own a second run through, maybe be bad or be melee or both or something. Bad, I'd probably do a bit more of a streamlined run if it were that was the case, though, I don't know. It was planet-based. Yeah, it would have been interesting to see some more space stuff rather than planet, but I think it would have been cool to see different gravities on different planets. I think that would have been a cool little addition. It would have been nice if slopes weren't like covered in soap all the time, so you just fell off. I mean, how many times did I jump onto a rock to stand on top of a rock and shoot something and I just slid off the rock? You know what I mean? Like those things, I mean, come on, that kind of sucked. But I thought the gunplay ran pretty well. I like that. Yeah. I think it went all right in the end. Oh. I don't know, am I able to? Okay, you can. Alright, well, I think that's about it. I can't see myself starting another game for only about half an hour's worth of time, so I think I'm gonna say goodbye for now. Again, thank you for coming out, saying hello, and saying goodbye to Outer Worlds. Pulling up Steam here. Let me check my Steam library. We obviously have Yakuza Kiwami number 2 coming up. I also have I bought it a couple months ago. Where is it? Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, that I intended to play. I heard it was alright. Give it a shot. We also have stuff coming up with Thanksgiving and all that, so I'm gonna try and figure out a B-rig. I may be restricted to games like Dwarf Fortress or smaller, less graphically intense games, or CPU intense games, although Dwarf Fortress does get pretty CPU intense. But we'll figure it out. We'll see. Anyway, like I said earlier, podcast tonight, 8 o'clock, twitch.tv/dual redundancy, and hopefully I will see you later in the week. You guys have a good night.
Hey, thanks for making it all the way to the end of this video. I know that some of the VODs can get a little bit long, so I do appreciate you sticking around. I'd like to ask real quick if you have a friend or someone close to you who you think would like a clip or a portion or even the whole stream, please feel free to reach out to them and share this with them. I'm always looking for more respectful people to come hang out and have some fun. If you've already done that or want to help me out some other way, feel free to check out the video description for some other ways you can help support me. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.